are here with a phenomenal singer, songwriter, entrepreneur, creative director, the gypsy funk songstress, the purple phase phenom, the one, the only, Vincena.
What's up?
So I just yelled a whole bunch of adjectives
Yeah.
in how I describe you. But how would you describe yourself?
I am a daughter, a child of God,
Okay.
a friend, lover of music, lover of art, um, lover of my city. I
Okay.
don't know. I'm just here. I'm a being, and I love art and I love music. So yeah, so many different ways to express. But yeah,
Yeah, and hopefully we'll jump into some of those things. You said
Yeah.
something interesting. You said an artist, and I want to set the tone that after September 27th, you will be a whole bunch of people's new favorite artist.
oh,
So,
yay.
let's jump into some of these things. In our first conversation, I was telling you that your social media is probably one of the most aesthetically pleasing, and you described yourself as a creative director. Talk to me about your artistry in general. When did you first know that you were an artist?
Um, I first knew I was an artist. Well, I always knew I wanted to do music, but the concept of an artist started to manifest itself maybe in 2017 after like a best friend at the time had passed away. And the void of that person not being there made me have to I didn't have any crutches around me, and I had to look at myself like, okay, well, everybody was always telling me what to be and who to be and how to sing, and now this person is not here to do that. So it's like, what kind of artist do you want to be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now I had to do that self discovery and just search and really discover, okay, how do I want to be perceived in the world, or what message do I want to tell, or you know what I mean? So I started doing that, dived in, and it all gypsy funk kind of manifested itself then back in 2017. And now we have this world of sounds and this sonic aesthetic that is I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of, and I did a lot of work on just making it make sense, because it was in my head for so long, and I couldn't I was trying to tell people and give it language, but it didn't make sense to anybody else. And I had to create the music. I had to create the aesthetic, create the sonic aesthetic, if you will, so that people can see it clearly. And so now people's like, oh, I get it.
That's
you know what
gypsy
I'm saying?
funk.
Yeah, that's gypsy funk.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So 2017, so we're talking about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And it in the face of what sounds like a deeply grieving moment. You were saying that people kind of had an idea of the artist that they wanted you to be.
Yeah.
What was the artist that they wanted, or who was the artist that they wanted you to be?
I think that, well, first of all, I didn't know. So me not knowing gave a lot of people room to just create whatever. It's like, you have a big voice, you're supposed to sound like this person, or your songs should be like this, or just different pop artists, or popular R&B artists that we know of. They're Keisha Cole, or just random things, and Brandy references, and I love Brandy. Just different references. Jasmine Sullivan. I mean, come on. We all love. We love her. But it was I appreciate, these are great people. I appreciate the comparison, but I need to figure out who I am as an artist. I should know. Yeah. Somebody shouldn't be telling me what type of artist I am. So I was like, okay, I hear what you guys are all saying, but that's not really the vibe for me. I need to go figure this out for myself. And so I did. And that's the best thing that I could have ever done.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's such a beautiful thing, of this idea of I have to discover myself.
Yeah.
So then in discovering myself, my art can be authentic.
100%.
I want to go back a little bit, though, because for people to compare you to greats, right? Brandy's a great. Jasmine Sullivan is a great. They had to have seen you perform for a while. So I want to go back even earlier than 2017.
Yeah.
And in your bio, you said your nomadic journey started in North Philly, singing in the church.
Yeah.
What are some of your earliest musical memories?
Ooh. So in church, it's like everybody sings.
Everybody sings.
Everybody plays an instrument. Everybody sings.
Yeah.
So, um, I felt like I had a voice. I
Hmm.
felt like, I can sing with
Okay.
y'all. I can sing on the choir. I can lead
Yeah.
devotion. And so, but I also had interest in drums. I played drums as well in
Okay.
church. Yeah, I played drums. And so, in doing that, they discovered that I had a voice as well. And then they were like, okay, well,
Okay.
you're going to get off the drums and you're going to
Okay.
start leading praise and
You
worship.
better lead
Yeah, yeah, you
worship.
better lead praise and worship. So I started leading praise and worship. And I just kind of just was finding my way there and getting critiques from like my cousins and stuff
Hmm.
like that. They're like, oh, you singing too hard. Are you doing
Hmm.
this? You do too many rounds. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
like whatever. It was just like school for us. We were just
Yeah.
like, sharpening our swords and just figuring your
Hmm.
voice out type of thing. And then to fast forward, my second memory, like my bigger memory,
Hmm.
was in high school actually, in like my sophomore year or something like that. And we had like a talent show,
Hmm.
and everybody knew me for like being like the class clown girl,
Okay.
or you know what I mean. I'm always being silly or
Hmm.
funny, and but there was like rumblings that I could sing, and so
Now,
everybody
I want to jump in. There were rumblings.
there were rumblings. Like I was not. I'm still kind of like not the girl that's gonna be like I sing. I
Hmm.
don't know. It's just I don't know. I guess it's always been kind of like weird to me.
Hmm.
Not so much that I'm shy, but I can be reserved.
Okay.
So I don't like to like be like I can do that. Like
Yeah.
it's just weird to me. So yeah, there was rumblings of me being able to sing, and so they convinced me. Like a few people from my class at the time, they convinced me to sing, and I decided to sing for the talent show. It was like the end of the
Hmm.
school year talent show, and I sang behind the curtain.
Okay.
And my plan was to sing behind the curtain, and then no one would know who it was. I don't know. I don't know who I thought I
You
was.
were you were a visionary. You
Yeah,
were her before
yeah,
her.
listen, I'm like,
You ain't gonna
girl,
know who I am.
please, you
Yeah.
are behind the curtain.
Uh-huh.
Like, I was behind the curtain, and I was like, I'm gonna sing behind the. It's gonna be mysterious. Like nobody's gonna know. They're gonna be confused. They'll never know it was
Hmm.
me. I'm gonna play a trick on everybody. Like I was just, I don't know what was going on in my head, and so they were like, "Oh yeah, 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 of course, of course." So it's time, and I do. What do I do? Um, uh, I don't want to do this
That's a
anymore.
song.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I do that. So everybody's like, okay. And then the second I had a mashup
Hmm.
planned. Okay,
Okay. So
younger.
so you
Like
were a
I,
creator from the
yeah, yeah,
jump.
yeah.
You came out the box.
I'm getting into my production. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go into this song. After this, cue the song. The next song is mm,
Hmm.
ooh,
Hmm.
some people live for. So everybody's like, so the keys start, and and they're like, oh, like they thought Alicia Keys, like
Okay.
they were like, she's here.
Okay. All right.
She's Alicia Keys is
Is
here.
behind
Is
that curtain.
behind that, like she's here. So the whole the school is like it's like a roar.
Yeah.
Everybody's screaming, and I'm like, oh my god, this is
Hmm.
the moment. Like they're never gonna know. And the kids they decide to push me out.
Ah. Who? Wait. Who did it?
My class, like a few, it was like two or three people.
Call them out.
Um, Sean Catino.
Sean Catino.
Sean Catino, and I don't remember I think Diamond Selby, maybe
Diamond Selby.
Diamond Selby, girl. These two people, they were like some fun people. Like they were so funny, but they pushed me out because I guess it was just like enough is enough.
Enough
It's
is
just
enough.
like we know you
Hmm.
can sing. Let everybody know. And I think that was the moment that I stepped out and I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Like it was a spotlight on me. I couldn't see
Hmm.
the people, but I just knew that like they knew me.
Ah.
Like they
You
knew
felt seen in that
I
moment.
felt seen, and
Yeah.
like they knew me. They knew some of my story,
Hmm.
whatever I was comfortable to share. They knew things about me, and I was like, wow, like this is this is what I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
doing in life with my life. And ever since then, I was like, okay, whatever I got to do, whoever I got to
Hmm.
connect with, I got to make this happen.
Okay. So I just want to take a moment. Sean Diamond, thank you. Because you pushed Vincena onto stage, and now here we are.
Yes.
So it's funny how those things happen. You had this whole plan. You were her before her. Apparently, at some point, you were also Alicia Keys in that moment.
Like what?
And then you became Vincena.
I did.
So that's really dope. What were some of you? So I want to go back. I like to go back. I'm a therapist. It's kind of in my nature.
Yeah.
Singing in the church.
Yeah.
What did that teach you?
It taught me to pull from something.
Oh, say
like,
more.
Yeah, pull from well, your spirit. There's that, right?
Yeah.
The Holy Spirit, your spirit, and pull from that emotion. Like, don't be soulless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what does this song mean to you, or what do you want people to feel when they hear you?
Because they will tell you quickly.
They
that you
will
ain't
tell
got the
you,
oil on
and be honest and raw and authentic in whatever that emotion is. Like, let that be heard.
Okay.
So that really is what I got from church, for real, for real.
Yeah, to sing from the soul. You said something that hurt my feelings a little bit. You said everybody in the church can sing, and I can't. I can't play an instrument either. It passed over me. The spirit was like, not you, brother, not you.
Yeah.
But it really does. Like, church is such a place where you can't just get up and sing the song. It's worship, but then also, like, there's such a tradition, particularly in the Black church, of when you sing, you have to connect with what you're singing.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I have learned as I've listened to your music is that you're connected with what you're singing. So you learned that from the church.
Yeah.
Then you transition into more secular music, which is fine. What was that experience like of transitioning from church to singing Rihanna, Alicia Keys, and then eventually your own music?
Yeah. I guess for me, I didn't really think of it as like a big deal because it was just, again, it was just feeling, it was just emotion. And so it wasn't that hard of a transition. Both of the genres, gospel and R&B, soul, like, they all are rooted kind of in the same place, just with emotion, with the soul. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it wasn't hard for me to sing an Alicia Keys or a Rihanna song because it was coming from the same place, the same type of emotion. So just doing that was just when I started to figure out, okay, what do I like? What type of music do I like? What type of voices do I like too? And I was realizing that I was gravitating to voices that were similar to my tone.
Okay.
As I was discovering my own voice, I was gravitating to those type of artists as I kind of progressed. So yeah. Okay.
And what were some of those early favorite artists? So the people who you gravitated towards.
I mean, Shaka Khan.
Okay, that's a good start. That's a good start.
So let's start there. So like Shaka Khan, and we like Whitney, like, you know, the voices, and then getting into more like nuanced like voices like Anita Baker, like what? Like, you know, like, what is this here? Like, when I discovered her, I was like, so she sounds like a breath. The whole time, like, I blew my mind, like crazy. So Anita Baker, then like Brandon, I was like, is this her daughter? It was just like, my younger me was like, I was exploding. I was like, oh my God, these people. So, you know, just coming up, just listening to these people, just explore their voices in such a way. I was like, oh, I gotta figure out like how to have my own sound. I wanted to be distinctive. I wanted to know my voice. Like, I felt Anita knew her voice. Like, I was like, I've got to figure that out. Yeah. So, just evolving in that world, it just really took me to like a really cool place.
Yeah, I like how you lit up as you were talking about that. Like, when artists talk about their artistry and the things that inspires them, there's a certain spark. And that's what I just saw as you were talking about it. Like, I've never heard somebody describe somebody's voice as a breath. Yeah. But that's how it registered for you. Yeah. And then it was like, how do I not mimic that, but how do I create my own version
of that?
Yeah. Also, it made me think your music selection makes me feel like you have a very clean house, because that's Saturday morning.
Clean up music. Like,
Shaka and Anita, my house is clean.
Yeah, let's clean up. Yeah, for sure.
So you're now discovering music. You're listening to the greats, right? Shaka's a great, Brandy's a great, Anita's a great. What was your first thought of your voice and how to begin to like transition into your own sound?
Um, my first thought was, okay, I was like, I knew I had power.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, this is good. You know, like I knew that that was what people responded to, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but I can't just lead with just power. I need nuance, I need tone, I need texture. And so I needed to get control of my voice, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, now I'm doing like training and going to vocal coaching and just getting that formal training, just understanding the voice itself and understanding texture and tone. Um, going through that training that
Yeah.
people don't do anymore, but it's important. It's important. So I did a lot of that type of training, and that really helped me really hone my skill a little bit better.
Yeah, so it sounds like you invested.
Oh yeah,
Let me put in the time, the
Yeah.
effort, the finances, because vocal coaches aren't
Yeah.
inexpensive.
No, it's not.
To make sure that I get to a place that I know my sound.
Yeah.
I know my sound. Okay. I'm curious. So the Vincena that we see now was birthed around 2017, right? Grief, loss, and then this new identity's coming out. I wonder, looking back, what would you tell the younger version of yourself?
Ooh. Um, Younger me, I would tell myself to, I guess, like just stay in the tension.
Mm.
Stay in the tension. Like um, don't try to run away from like what's actually happening. Because I did a lot of like escapism when I was younger, and like just things that was happening to me, like a lot of childhood trauma. I did a lot of like escaping, like blocking things out instead of really pouring it directly into what I really wanted to do. But because I was such a multifaceted kid in so many different ways within music and just like other skills outside of that, I had so many things I could pay attention to versus focusing in on one thing. And then in the midst of that, discovering who I am as a person. Before just discovering who I am as an artist, like who do I want to be as a person? So doing a lot of like just running. And so I would tell myself to just stay in attention and just hone in. Don't let nothing distract you. Hone in on your passion. And you know what your passion is. Like focus on your passion. Don't worry about anything else.
Yeah, that's a word.
Yeah.
If I had the space, I would take a lap like they
Yeah.
do in church.
yeah.
Stay in the tension.
Stay in it.
Because in the tension is where we learn a lot, right? We learn a
Yes.
lot about who we are and what we're made of. We learn a lot about what we believe, right? Like we say we believe things, but then when it's hard, that's when that thing is tested.
It's like, do you? Yeah.
It also sounds like there was a level of focus, right? Like a lot of artists, myself included, we're artists in a lot of different ways,
Yeah.
right? So we're like I'm a poet, and then I'm also a curator. I'm also a podcaster. And sometimes in being able to do all of those things, like I don't really hone in on one specifically and sharpen that one. So it sounds like you'd also tell your younger self, like, no, like really sharpen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder, would you do anything differently?
Would I do anything differently? I mean, no, because everything that I did and I went through is where it's gotten me to where I am now. So, I would say that I needed all of that.
Yeah.
I needed all of those experiences to get to where I am now. You know what I mean? So
I like that answer. Oftentimes we like, I'll do this differently, I'll do that differently, but it's almost a trade-off. It's, if I did it differently, maybe vocally I would be here, but experientially I may not be.
Right.
So let's begin to shift.
Yeah.
Gypsy funk. It sounds magical.
Yeah, it is.
Tell me, well, first I want to read this because this was a very, it was just an artistic way to say this. Gypsy funk is a sonic aesthetic.
This is right.
It has many layers, many shapes, many colors. I both read that and felt inspired and confused. Tell me a little bit more. What are the layers? What are the colors? What are the shapes?
So when I say it's a sonic aesthetic, I'm saying like it looks the way it sounds. It sounds the way it feels. And it was just an excuse for me to create this world where I could put all of my influences sonically into just one umbrella. And so I didn't want to just be just an R&B soul singer. I also am inspired by alternative folk music. Like I learned how to write from country music.
Yeah.
Like
They
country
be
listen
yeah,
here
they be
now.
stories.
Let's
Yeah.
let's not sleep on the country.
Yeah.
So, country music is like very instrumental in my pen. For real. And then obviously like gospel is like that feeling, and then also then we got like the rock side of me. There's like I don't know. I can go so many different directions, and so even like jazz, when it comes to like gypsy jazz, like my earlier stuff from my project had a lot of like gypsy jazz influences, and so I was like, dang, I like all of these things, and so many of these things are influencing what I'm doing. How can I create this space where it can all exist at once, and I don't have to be put in a box? And so I was like, gypsy funk makes sense. Okay. For lack of a better term, I am a gypsy nomad girly, but I'm funky.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, this and this is it. This is like,
You're a gypsy nomad girly. I think Common said there's so much in the name, there's so much more in you.
Yeah.
But I'm curious of the name. What made you go with gypsy funk compared to nomadic funk, compared to anything else? The label of gypsy is really interesting to me.
Yeah. So when I think of a gypsy, I'm thinking of this woman that is on this quest for freedom. Yeah. And I've always felt like I've always been this, even when I was a young girl, I was always on a quest for freedom, but I always was constantly moving around. Like my younger years, we moved a lot. Like I never really like got planted anywhere. And so that kind of got implemented into my personality, into me as a person, as a artist, even just the way that I write, like everything. It became such a part of who I am. So I was like, okay, how can I own this? Because when I was younger, it was like, it felt a little like off-putting, like, girl, where do you live? You know what I'm saying? Like, where are you living at now? Like, are you gonna get planted somewhere? But then I was like, okay, well, I can embrace the fact that, I've been bouncing around, but I'm on the quest. I haven't found where I'm going to be planted at yet, or but life is about you're never really planted.
We like to think we are.
Yeah, we like to think we are, but like you're never really planted. You're always there's always more. There's always a next step. So it's just this girl that's on this quest, trying to just find this treasure, going through this life cycle, but finding beauty in it. And to me, when I think about that, I see these colors, I hear this music, I see tambourines, I just see a sea of people that are like-minded, that are just one spirit. Yeah. And that's just kind of how I see it.
Yeah. So you took something that could have been derogatory, something that is difficult to experience as a kid. Yeah. And really rebranded it into the kind of life that you want to live, and then the kind of sound that you want to create. So it's the kind of life of I'm on a quest. I'm constantly looking. I'm moving towards the next thing. I'm wearing things loosely. And that comes through in your music. I want to switch to talking about the purple phase. You comfortable talking about the purple phase?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So, full disclosure, the people know I'm a poet. Yeah. So one of the things that gets me is people's pens. So right off the bat, it's a simple line, but I loved it. You said, "Life is a movie to me. Just make sure you're catching the groove," which sounds a lot like what you were just talking about. Yeah. So talk to me about that. That's off of that 70 Jawn. Talk to me about the formation of the purple phase. Why is it called the purple phase? And then I'm gonna jump more into some lyrics as we continue to go.
So the purple phase, purple is my favorite color. Okay. And again, when I like I told you, when I think of gypsy funk, I see these colors. Like purple is one of the colors that's one of the first colors that I see. And so I wanted to start with that. There's just this royal feeling, this warm royal feeling that I feel when I think about like those songs. And so I wanted it to reflect that, like, and just like in a color format though. So yeah, when I'm looking at like a color wheel, like I can look at colors and I can say like this makes me feel like XYZ.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I was going with that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's this royal feeling. It's grounded in your favorite color.
Yeah.
You unlocked, I'm jumping all over the place. I'm jumping past my next point, but it's just what it is. You unlocked a childhood memory. I forgot what GIMP was. And I was like, why is that familiar? Why is that? And then I saw the video and it pops up in your hand. I was like,
it's
GIMP.
Yeah, it's GIMP.
Immediately.
Yes.
And the poet in me tripped over this song because lyrically,
thank you,
top notch. So I'm gonna read some lyrics and then just tell me your first response to them. So the chorus is, he's such a gem, and just like GIMP, head in a knot, and my four limbs, I weave my own pattern around him. What comes to mind when I read that back to you?
So I used it as a metaphor for love.
Yeah.
And so when you think about being intimate with someone and you think about GIMP itself, normally you put GIMP in a knot at the head.
Yeah.
And then you have four strings, but you have four limbs. And you weave your own pattern around the GIMP. So I was like, I'm the GIMP. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're the GIMP. Like, so I was just like, oh, this makes sense. So yeah, it was just a cool way to express what that type of love like felt like to me. It was like very like whimsical and, you know, just lucid to me. And so that's kind of where that came from. Okay. But it was inspired by GIMP itself.
Yeah, beautiful chorus.
Thank you.
And then the whole second verse.
Yeah.
Just whole second. So I love when I'm listening to somebody sing and I can fully picture what they're singing. Yeah. So you painted a picture. So again, hopefully I don't hurt your ears too much. I'm going to read these lyrics to you. Morning breaks out of sleep. I say hello before we speak. And the daily routine is now a breeze. First, my daily routine is rarely a breeze.
Yeah.
I want that kind of love where I just wake up.
Yeah, it's like,
oh, something in me tells me our life will be sweet. Pray you'll be patient with me. You're my king. I'm your queen. It's really self kind of explanatory. Yeah, snaps, right? Snaps. Y'all can't see him. Tim's over here snapping at that. Tell me about that verse. Tell me about just the whole kind of creation of that song and your approach to writing, because clearly you have a very directed approach there.
Okay, so it's funny that you're talking about GIMP in this way. GIMP is the first record that I wrote for this project. Okay. I wrote this record back in 2017, a month after my friend passed. So I don't know. I wrote that song in 15 minutes to a click track, no music.
Yeah.
The song came to me complete. Like it wrote it. I still never experienced that. That song wrote itself. I don't know what I was a single woman grieving my friend. Yeah. I guess it was just more so just I was creating the world that I wanted to see for myself, or the type of relationship I wanted to be in, maybe. And so I was like, okay, if I was in a relationship, how would I want to feel? You know what I mean? Like what world can I create for myself? And so that's kind of what came to me. Yeah. Just randomly came to me. Crazy.
That's crazy. That's beautiful. I think so I go to a lot of open mics, I perform a lot, and one of the hard things about being an artist is so often we live in what we're experiencing, so then it's hard to get out of it. So as I'm listening to you, the fact that you were saying, no, actually I'm not experiencing this, I want this, and for you to write it so clearly and like you were experiencing it at that moment, I was sure you were going to say, and that man broke my heart. I was like, no, like legitimately, that's so super dope, great pen.
Thank you.
I want to go back to Hippie. It gives me the feels.
I love Hippie.
Yeah, so I want to get a little bit into your process of writing that song as well.
Yeah, so Hippie was It was while I was discovering,
Mm-hmm.
coming up in the jam circuit here
Mm-hmm.
in Philly. Um, I was around a lot of musicians at the time, meeting new people, and there was just this. It felt like this, just like renaissance of like these cool kids
Mm-hmm.
that was like coming out to jams. Like we were just like, it felt like we were rebels. We were
Mm-hmm.
just like, we wanted to create this world for ourselves. We wanted to create community, um, and I was like, how can I take what I'm seeing and like capture this moment? Like we're like a bunch of like black hippie kids. We're going natural, like
Yeah.
we're vegan, we're taking our herbs, like we're
Mm-hmm.
taking care of ourselves. Like we're doing all of the things that, our parents didn't do. And
Yeah.
so like, how can I take a picture of this moment? And I was like, I want to say hippie. I want to figure out how to like make this
Mm-hmm.
a song, but I don't want it to be corny. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it could have got corny. You know what I'm
Could
saying?
have. It
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah,
Yeah.
gratefully. So I was like, oh, you know what I mean? Okay, so I can make this about just like black love.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's it. And that song just kind of manifested. Just after that dropped in my head, I was like, that's it. So it just wrote itself.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That seems to be the trend. The song writes itself with you.
I mean, it's melodies are otherworldly
Yeah.
for me. I believe that music is from God, and the spirit, like, it comes to you. You have to just be a vessel and open to it. And when it comes to you, you just
Yeah.
you need to release. So, because you think about it. I mean, you're a writer. You start with nothing.
Yeah.
And then you
Scariest
leave with
part.
something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm leaving here with something. Like,
Yeah.
you leaving here with something. You leave with something, and it's. I'm just grateful that I'm blessed to have the gift.
Yeah.
Because I don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
It's the most beautiful thing to experience on earth, for sure, for me.
And that's important. One of the things that, as an artist, I try to do is to be as real to what I'm creating as possible.
Yeah.
I'm curious, and answer this in whatever way you see fit. I know for me, I usually start somewhere in the middle of a poem. I never start at the beginning. Like, I wish I could be like, it's this, and then it's this, and then it's this. It's usually a line in the middle that catches me, and then it kind of builds around that. Do you start with the melody? Do you start with lyrics? How do you typically start? So we start with nothing. How do you typically get to where you're going?
Melody. It's
Okay.
always melody. The melody
Yeah.
always comes
Mhm.
from the like it
Yeah.
just comes. The melody comes, and then the melody tells me what I'm supposed to say.
Okay.
So I'll mumble
Mhm.
the melody out, and whatever I hear inside of the melody that's what it's supposed to be.
Okay. Yeah. So you let it tell you what it is.
Absolutely. I'm not in control of this.
Okay.
Like
All right.
I am not in
Yeah.
control of this. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
I'm just here experiencing this gift. It has complete control
Okay.
for sure.
That's, again, amazing to hear. So listen, the people, this is what I want y'all to do. Before September 27th, y'all need to get on every streaming platform, on YouTube, listen to The Purple Phase, listen to all the singles that are dropped, because on September 27th, I want you singing along with Vincena. Can y'all do that? Yeah, y'all said yes? Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, The Purple Phase.
Yeah.
When did that drop?
That dropped last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're some time removed from that. What can we expect from you next?
So I have a new single that's about to drop, called Stunning.
Okay.
And it's an affirmation, about inner beauty. And so that's just where I'm at now. Like,
Okay.
I'm doing that inner work.
Yeah.
And so this song is like really, really special to me. It's fun. It's different. Like, I worked with different producers on this one, and I'm really excited. This actually it had debuted on the radio before it even released, which is really cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
me and the team, we're working on getting the song out, and we're doing the visuals and things. So it's been really exciting. And this next phase is going to be the sienna phase.
Okay.
So we're going into another color.
I don't know what sienna is.
Sienna is like it's like a burnt orange.
Oh, okay, cool. I was
So-
fully a man there. I was
Yeah,
like color
yeah,
wheel
yeah.
somewhere.
So it's like this. It's like a burnt orange, and when I think of stunning, I think of like the sun. I think of like I have a line like I wanna stand in the sun. I wanna feel some love. Feet by the river, grounding, like just these things that I wanna do to just like connect with me.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's what I think of when I hear that. So yeah, we're going into this different color phase, this warm sienna vibe. Yeah.
All
So
right. I'm excited. I also suddenly feel very special because that's the song that you did for the promo.
yeah.
Oh, I feel special. I feel good.
Yeah.
All right. So let's wrap up here. This is what we call the lightning round. I'm going to ask you questions. There's 5 to 6 of them. I want you to give your first answer immediately, as little thought as possible. I will make fun of you if you think too much.
Okay.
First, biggest inspiration.
Shaka Khan.
Okay, cool. If you could share the stage with any one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Dead or alive, who would I share the stage with? Shaka Khan.
Okay, Shaka Khan, cool.
Yeah.
Tiny Desk, Shaka Khan.
Absolutely.
First, your Tiny Desk was amazing. Anyway,
let's be clear.
rapid fire. Favorite cover to perform?
Favorite cover, Bills by Destiny Child.
Okay,
Crazy.
all right. I can't pay your telephone bills, but it's all good. I'm trying to pay mine. All right, so I'm going to make you choose between your children. Your favorite song of yours to perform?
My favorite song of mine to perform would be Gimp.
Gimp.
Mm-hmm.
Probably my favorite song of yours, too. Yeah. You can only choose one. You either have to be a vocalist or a songwriter. Which do you choose?
A vocalist or a songwriter?
Yep. So you can either sing or write. Only one.
I have to sing.
Okay, you have to sing.
I have to sing.
You have to sing. I like that answer.
Yeah, I have to sing because if I don't sing, then I'm not operating in my gift.
There we go. Yeah. There we go. All right, this last one. It's September 27th. You just finished performing.
Yeah.
The crowd is cheering.
Yes.
I'm fully ecstatic because it went exactly how it went.
Yeah.
You're looking out at the people.
Yeah.
What's the one word you want them to say?
I want them to say, I get it.
That's 3 words.
Okay, one word. Okay. So when I get it, but I guess
I said I was going to make fun of you, but
elated.
Elated. You want the people to feel elated. You want them to say, I get
elated. I get it.
The people. You heard it from Vincena first. She wants you to feel elated. She wants you to see her.
Yeah.
So, September 27th, Ardmore Music Hall. Make sure you're there. Make sure you listen to the music so you can sing every word.
Yes.
And thank you for tuning in. Vincena, thank you for being here.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.